Unknown 9 Awakening. You're like, John, what is that? It's a game that came out, what, a month or so ago? And you're like, I never heard about it because the game sucks. The game sucked badly. Um, that's probably why you didn't hear about it. But actress for Unknown 9 Awakening accidentally admits to being a DEI hire. And I mean, I have nothing against her. The minute she comes out, like, we never have a problem with the people themselves. We don't. It's only when they start coming out and saying that, oh, well, you're just a bunch of phobes, this and isms if you didn't like it, then we start having. It's like Daisy Ridley. For the longest time, no one had a problem with Daisy Ridley herself. We know that she didn't write Rey. We know that she had nothing to do with the character being written and what they decided to do. So we didn't have a problem. We criticized Rey, Mary Sue, this and that, but we never actually criticized Daisy Ridley. Daisy Ridley came out not too long ago and started calling the fans phobes, this and isms. And we're like, gloves are off, Daisy. Gloves are off. So we never have a problem with these people until they start opening their mouths and calling us all sorts of phobes, is and isms. So as far as I know, this woman hasn't done anything like that. But also, the Amazon Music, of all places to find a. I know, that's exactly what I was like. What? What? And this is 8-bit Eric. But it is a podcast, so I guess it makes sense. But this is smashjt.com, not .org, not .gov, not .net, .com. Yeah, actress for Unknown 9 Awakening accidentally admits to being a DEI hire. As you can see, uh, gorgeous woman, gorgeous woman. And yet you look in game and you see what they did. So here's one of the faces, right there with Vera. She played it. Oh, she played it. But yeah, that's one of the faces you get in the game. Like, how does that look anything remotely like this? Look how nice, look how slender her face is. And then look at that. It's so freaking blocky, just like everything else, because you can't have gorgeous women anymore. Not blocky, blocky. Not blocky, blocky. But people say it's not happening. Anyway. In yet another example of DEI-driven hiring undermining the integrity of the video game industry, Anya and Chalotra, the main character for Unknown 9 Awakening, accidentally admitted the truth about her casting. Also, this is a game that they were expecting to be huge, comic, movies, stuff like that, but it's not happening. It's not happening. The game is dead. The game's dead. I don't think anyone even's playing it. Hang on. It's a Sunday night. It's 5 o'clock on Sunday night. No one is playing this game. No one is playing this game. Let's go look at maybe, how about a new Mario game? Mario Brothers Brothership. Okay, so you got a good amount of people still playing. Black Myth Wukong. The Black Myth Wukong. Still good. Let's see, the highest is a 204, because sometimes they're not in order. Alright, so 204 is the highest. Still pretty good. Let's see, Echoes of Wisdom. Came out, what, a month or two ago. Really good game. Got still plenty of people playing this. Came out, I think, around the same time as Unknown 9. About Dragon Age. So a good amount of people still playing Dragon Age. Probably just wanting to get through it. Also, I see some character creation screens and stuff like that. So, but no one is playing this game at all. It's like Dustborn. No one's playing it. I went over this when it first came out. It was buggy. Um, it's a terrible game. It's a terrible game. It really is bad. The motion capture is bad. The faces are bad. You know, like the faces, the animation. Again, you saw her, she's gorgeous. She's freaking gorgeous. And they make her face so large and blocky. It's just they just hate beautiful women. Um all right, who is she? For those unfamiliar, British actress and great. In short, in a series of posts, uh, in a series of short posts, series of shorts posted, wow, on the CG Monthly YouTube channel, Chalotra gave a cringy and honestly extremely boring interview that unintentionally exposed the ultimate hollow nature of her involvement in the game, demonstrating once again how prioritizing diversity over skill is ultimately weakening the game industry. Yeah, I think we all can agree with that. When you prioritize diversity, equity, inclusion, everything suffers. The story suffers. The characters suffer. The characters become just stereotypes of whatever you're trying to insert uh, for a bit of diversity. The characters are never well written. Instead, their personality is the fact that they're black, gay, whatever type of diversity they added into the game for those characters, that becomes their whole character. They don't have anything else going for them apart from I'm gay or I'm black or whatever. And when you have a game, especially a game that you're supposed to, care about the character, it's kind of hard to care when it's like, okay, well, you're gay. Can you give me another reason to care about you? But they don't care about that. They just throughout the interview, while undeniably a beautiful woman, yeah, she's absolutely gorgeous, struggled to even articulate what role in the game she actually even was. Like a student who forgot to study for a test. Her just disjointed responses and obvious discomfort displayed a lack of understanding or any kind of deeper connection with the project. She rambled on, stumbling over her words because about how she didn't even audition but was simply offered the part, meaning she was hired not for any kind of proven expertise in a specific role or experience, but because of her identity, fitting neatly into the diversity, equity, inclusion box so many companies are obsessed with checking off these days. I didn't audition, I was offered the opportunity and I jumped on it.
I didn't audition. I was offered the opportunity, and I jumped at it. I grabbed it with both hands because it's what an amazing opportunity.
So you can't say, oh, she's being taken out of context. No, this is what she said. She didn't audition. They're just, hey, you're gonna, you work for me now. I'm your boss now. She awkwardly mentioned how she jumped at the opportunity and how it was her first experience doing motion capture. She brings up like Andy Serkis and Planet of the Apes and all that, saying she always kind of wanted to do that. Um, and how it was her first experience doing motion capture. The comments were meant to show enthusiasm, but instead accidentally revealed she was chosen specifically to fit the role created for her diversity. She referenced being inspired by Andy Serkis, who, Planet of the Apes best known for, playing Gollum for all these years. Every time you see Gollum motion capture, that's him. It's Sandy. Whether it be Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, I think probably the new like that Gollum game that came out, a terrible Gollum game, and then this new Gollum movie series or whatever that's coming out, the Search or Hunt for Gollum or whatever. Yeah, he's gonna be Gollum. So he's been Gollum for what 20 plus years. So, and he's good at what he does. He's very, 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 very good at what he does. Uh, reference it being inspired by Andy Serkis and wanting to play an ape in Planet of the Apes, which honestly was a pretty bizarre and irrelevant comparison that further emphasized her confusion about the role in the first place. If you're going to compare your experience to an animal, it's probably not a good look when your character is a human being. Well, at least they didn't claim claim that she was being racist or something. The gamer TM. It's impossible for me to escape the conclusion that the specific casting wasn't about talent or passion for the project. It was, I mean, obviously it was. It was, because even the people behind it were like, oh, it's a very diverse game and, you know, blah, blah, blah. It's like, clearly that's what they were going for. Clearly that's what they're going for. It was about meeting diversity quotas, her awkwardness in discussing the role, her continued vague and aimless answers, and the fact that she was simply offered the position scream of DEI hire. If I remember, I think Sweet Baby Inc. also worked on that game as well. And don't even get me started on how she responds to the question of if she plays video games.
Yeah, yeah, I play. I mean, I've played when I was a kid. I played The Witcher. When I got the part, and that was my first introduction really into the how big this world was. And I'm definitely gonna play Unknown Nine and
Inspiring. And this yeah, Sweet Baby at it again. Yeah, they worked on, if I remember, yeah, they worked on the game as well. Imagine that, right? Imagine that. Everything woke turns to shit, as a great man once said. And this ultimately is the core issue. Prioritizing DEI goals over hiring the best talent available is extremely dangerous precedent for the gaming industry. When studios fill crucial roles in their projects with people who are not hired for their skill, passion, or understanding of the material, the result is, well, subpar content. And then we have that word, subpar. I constantly say a subpar product. Watch my videos, you'll see that I'm constantly saying that these companies, whether it be movies or whatever, they're constantly pumping out a subpar product. So I'm not the only one who shares that sentiment. People are tired of it. People are tired of going out and spending hard-earned money, 60, 70, sometimes $80 for a game, and getting a subpar product. Because they're constantly filled with DEI bullcrap, a story that's terribly written, and characters who their entire character is their skin color, their gender, and how they identify. That's not how you write a character. And these companies, you know, expect you just to give your hard-earned money for that. And even the people that they pander to, the people who are like, oh yeah, we need representation, even they're turning on them. It's like, yeah, great. It's like with Dragon Age. I had a lot of comments over the past, month or so that the game's been out, of comments saying, you know what, yeah, I'm part of the community. I'm gay, I'm this, I'm that. But the characters suck. I don't feel represented at all. So, even the people they're pandering to are getting tired of it. But these companies, they don't care because they just see it as an outlet to push their crap. And if Sweet Baby Inc. go in and they crash an entire company, they don't care. They've already been paid. If that company goes out of business, they just move on to the next one. That's the great thing about Sweet Baby Inc. They're really at no risk at all at this point. They go to a company, they work on that game, the game fails, and it's a small startup company or whatever, and the company ends up going out of business. Doesn't matter, Sweet Baby Inc. They just move on to the next one. They really never get held responsible for destroying games. So they've got the most perfect business model set of all time, because they will never be held responsible. They've been doing this to game companies over 20, 30 years have been around. Ubisoft, EA, stuff like corporations like that. And what do you know? These corporations that were amazing back in the day, they get touched by these people, and suddenly it's one bad game after another. And then their stocks are going down. Their numbers are going down. Less people are playing their games. But Sweet Baby Inc. doesn't care. They've already been paid. So if Ubisoft was to go out of business tomorrow, oh well, we'll just move on to the next company. So it's a no risk for them. But subpar, that is the word I constantly use because that's what you're getting. And they think that you're stupid enough to continue doing it. Gaming isn't as an art form, thrives on talented individuals who understand and care about the medium. Yeah. When those roles, I mean, that's what you want. You want a game that has you invested. If a game can make someone, if you say that you're a person who doesn't cry, right? And you play a game that is so good, it makes you cry, that is a good game. But these characters that are being created now are soulless. You don't care. They could, something could happen. Their heads could be removed right there, and you wouldn't care. You're like, okay. You don't care. And I bring up games like Genshin Impact for a game that is free to play. It is one of the most, when they do their quests, the Archon quests, they're emotional. Like, you will freaking cry. And even if you don't flat out, you'll sit there and you'll feel the tears coming down because of how well written it is. For people who've played it, Sumeru, with Nahida, the Archon quest for Farina. Exactly. You're like, yeah, you're right. Because of how well written it is. And I keep saying that those two quests, the Archon quest for Sumeru and Fontaine, some of the best written dialogue, best written story, not only in that game, but current gaming. It is just insanely well written. When you can have a compilation of 100 people and they're all crying at the same parts, that is good writing. None of these games do that now. You're not sitting there bawling or caring about the characters. It's like most days you're like, I just want to get through it. I just want to get through the game now. But it is an art form. With art, you're supposed to feel something with art. You look at a picture, and you're supposed to feel something. If you're just playing the game to just get through it, that's not art. That's not art. Unknown Nine is a brainchild of Kim Belair, a famous advocate of diversity. Yeah, we know exactly what Sweet Baby is and what they do. In Unknown Nine Awakenings case, Chalotra interview paints a bleak picture of how the game that just cannot meet the standards gamers have come to expect. Her obvious discomfort through the interview discusses the project speaks volumes about the current state of the industry, where checking the DEI boxes is more important than finding skilled and passionate individuals who truly fit the role. Yeah. And you see this all the time with movies when they start just like race swapping, gender swapping, all because they just want to. Destined for failure, the continued reliance on DEI to fill roles within the gaming industry threatens to undermine the quality. And yeah, every time this year a game has come out that's had forced diversity in it, it's failed. One to the point of being removed entirely. Concord. So, these companies are saying that gamers are clamoring for this kind of content, for this kind of representation. They're not. The very people that they're pandering to have started to turn on them. Because diversity and everything doesn't make a game good. These games may have diversity, but their stories, the characters are crap. And you can't ride to have successful numbers if that's what all you have to offer is some DEI. but it's racist for them to cast her in the games just because of her color, her struggling to answer the questions about her role. Yep, super racist. But I'm not surprised. I mean, this is from last month, but and again, you can look at her. She's gorgeous. I mean, she's freaking gorgeous. But she looks terrible in the game. I'm like, this is current day. And motion capture from what 10 years ago looks better. That looks better than this game that cost like $400 million to make. Which is insane. It's insane. But they don't care about that. They care more about forced diversity, forced representation, inclusion. But then that diversity and inclusion, always stereotypical characters. They're always poorly written. And they're expecting you to pay $70, $80 of your hard-earned money for a subpar product. And nowadays, people are finally waking up and seeing this. And the very people that they're pandering to are now turning on them. Like I said, Dragon Age, big example of that. I had a lot of comments saying that, you know, they're just tired of it. That the game, you know, they're part of these communities and the characters are terrible. That they don't relate to them. So people are waking up. You know, better late than never, but yeah. Are we surprised at this point? Sweet Baby Inc. Doing this? No. Again, perfect business model. No risk to them. If a company crashes, they just move on to another one. But anyway, let me know if you played Unknown 9 Awakening, what you thought of it. And yeah. But that's going to do it for me. You guys know the drill. I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.